everybody. It's time to talk about another fruit that is a subject of some controversy. I've talked about some fruit scams in the past, the Cameron apple, for instance. There's a few other ones I've talked about, but fruits that are being sold as something that they're not. You know, that people will try to sell a fruit saying it's something, and it's really just like a whole lot of hogwash. And this is one that is a scam, but sold. It's more of like a seed scam. Like if you grow things, if you're like a gardener and you have like a little outdoor garden, this is something that is very often marketed as something that it's not. These are very, very tiny watermelons. Yeah, except that they're not. It looks a lot like a little watermelon. And there are a lot of sellers online. On eBay is especially notorious for a lot of like total BS seed sellers, where they actually will like sell this cut with like the inside showing it look like red with like little seeds in it, like a very tiny little watermelon. This is not a watermelon. It's more similar to a cucumber. Watermelons and cucumbers are actually related, but same family, not the same genus. And this one is actually not in the same genus as cucumbers or watermelons. It is part of its own and is flavor-wise more like a cucumber, but appearance-wise it does look like a teeny little watermelon. You can get little small watermelons that fit like in your hand, but not ones that fit between your forefinger and thumb. I'm afraid that is not going to happen. I do think it's funny that there are people who sell it that way. It's just like, how do they sleep at night knowing that they're just like creating a total piece of garbage to try to sell to people? Like the same sort of image of like this little fruit with the watermelon cross section where it's red inside is also like, I've seen it pop up on Facebook sometimes and on like Pinterest and stuff like that, where there's a lot of like images going around, and it's just a whole lot of garbage. It's totally fake. But that doesn't mean completely discount this fruit. This fruit is, besides the fact that it looks really adorable and everything, they do have a lot of uses. It's used the way you would use like a cucumber. You can like pickle them, you can put them in salads and stuff like that. But more importantly, you know, I've never actually had this. I've been saving this moment, you know, so I could do it on camera. So I'm gonna actually see what it tastes like. If it tastes like a cucumber or if it tastes like a watermelon. We'll find out. It's not gonna taste like a watermelon. I'm sorry. It's got a nice crunch to it. Like the outer part has got a nice crunch to it. The inside is very seedy, and the texture is nice. It's pretty firm on the outside, but as you see, like the center is kind of like it's got like a firm gel kind of consistency in there. The flavor of this actually reminds me a lot of the horned melon. Also related to all of that stuff, to cucumbers and melons and all that. But I think because of its seediness, it reminds me of that, only the horned melon has a very like jelly-like, slimy kind of seed, and these ones are a little more firm. So I actually prefer this over that. And the horned melon, if you don't really recall what that tastes like, it tastes like cucumber, but with like a little bit of like a sour note to it. So it's like if you took some cucumbers and you put like a little bit of like lime on it. The vendor that I got these from, they said that, you know, I asked like, what can you do with it? And they're like, eat them on their own, put them in a salad, pickle them. That's basically the only suggestions I got. So I'm going to try pickling these just in a very basic way. So I have such a laughably small amount of those little cucumbers, so I'm going to do this in a very small portion. Probably not going to need all of this brine, but I've got 1/4 cup of water, 1/4 cup of white vinegar, a half teaspoon of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to let this boil. Inside this little jar, I have a couple of allspice berries, some peppercorns, a little sprig of dill. I mean, it is a very tiny little jar for not a lot of fruit, so, you know, obviously if you're going to be doing this, do it with a much larger jar, more spices, more vinegar and water, more fruit, you know, but this is all I got. Some people actually will cut these in half, I think, to make it a little bit quicker, but I kind of want to keep the fact that they look like little watermelons, so I'm not going to cut them. So the brine is just going to go right into it, to the top, and I'm just going to put this over the top and let it cool down. These have gone to about room temperature, so I feel relatively safe that these are not going to explode if I put these in the fridge. So I'm going to screw on this lid. So these are just going to sit in my fridge for the next, I don't know, the longer the better, but let's say about 3 days, and we'll check on it then. Yeah, it's been 3 days, so that's about the amount of time that you want to give to pickles for a minimum. I think you can eat them like right away, but give it a few days and it'll be better. Probably like in another week it'll be better still, but I think 3 days will get the idea. The coloring on these changed a little bit. You can see that. It's still pretty firm. It smells like a bread and butter pickle. The texture on these are interesting because it's like crunchy on the outside, but relatively soft on the inside because of like the seeds are kind of like a jelly-like. But it's got a nice crunch to it, and because they're just, you know, bite size, it's kind of nice as well. This would be like really good like throw on to like a, I don't know, like in a salad, or like mix these into like potato salad or something. Probably be pretty good. Yeah, right on. It's good. It absorbs the liquid pretty well. I think maybe like a few more days would actually do it some good. The flavor of this is like regular pickles, you know, mostly like bread and butter pickles. You know, they're a little tart, fresh, but when you pickle it, that tartness is kind of lost a little bit. Tastes about the same as regular pickles to me. Maybe slightly different, but not to any point that is like notable. More than anything, it's more like the appearance and the texture that makes those interesting. So definitely worth, you know, doing if you've got like a bunch of these baby little watermelons here and you want something to do with them, then pickling them is a fun way to keep them. So I think that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Okay, I only have 1 minute, so I have to make this fast. Guys, click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that bell. I don't know what the bell does, but it probably gives an angel its wings, so click on it. That dislike button, don't click that one. Go to the comments, leave a comment if you have something to say. Go to this description, because in the description there is a link to my Patreon page where you can help contribute to my channel and make it grow. There's also a link to my website where you can see a backlog of videos, more information, and also you can buy a t-shirt at my website now. I want to give a special shout out to the channel Smarter Every Day, because Smarter Every Day is a mega contributor on Patreon. They're really helping me out. If you like what I'm doing with fruit, check out his channel because it basically covers everything involved in science. It's really interesting. Also around there should be a couple of videos right here. These are the videos to my next week's episode, if it's up, and last week's episode, where you can check that out. I still have 3 seconds, guys, so thank you so much. Bye-bye.